Round 7 review. Brisbane by 45 in the end. Was that a surprise? I'm not entirely sure. Put your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what your takeaway was from the game. I went with a Brisbane Lions fan, a good friend of mine, and I asked him his thoughts on the game right after, and he said, "You're just not clean with the footy. You're just fumbly. There's moments where you can capitalise on Brisbane mistakes. You could have hurt us, but you just made mistakes. And any time there was a 3v2 or a 2v1 and we had the outnumber, we lost it." And I totally agree with him. That's exactly how I saw the game. We had moments between the arcs to win the ball, to create a 2v1, to exploit a mistake. And what do we go and do? We go and make our own mistake, and they turn it over and they hurt you. And it could have been a much bigger margin this week, similar to last week. Brisbane missed a lot of gettable shots. They had a lot of inside 50s. They had midfield dominance. To me, if you look at the stats from last week to this week, barring the scoreboard difference, I dare say they're going to be very similar. I think maybe we won more contested ball this week compared to last. We were very soft last week. There were moments in this game where we looked all right. Patches in the second early, and I think patches in the third where we kicked 4 goals and kicked, I think, the first 3 of the quarter. But really, if you're at the game, you're sitting there, I hate games where it just feels like you're just not in them. We just weren't in them. And Brisbane did it easy. They could make mistakes. They could fumble. They could shank a kick and still get away with it. We let teams off the hook too often. And the thing with modern day football now is if a team makes a mistake, you've got to hurt them. And we just didn't hurt Brisbane today. And, I think certain players did lift a little bit. I think Marshall had a better game. I think Steele got his hands onto it, at least 29 disposals. Did he do much with it? That remains to be seen. McRae, again, was quiet for his standards, I thought, even though he had 26 or 27. I just felt like we didn't have purpose to our game. Like, Brisbane had purpose. When they had the ball, you kind of knew that it was always going to be moved forward. It was always to a scoring advantage for their teammate. Whether they made a mistake or not was irrelevant, but they had purpose behind it. For us, we just don't look like a team, and it's rightly so after the last few weeks, but we just don't look like we have confidence. We just don't look like we trust each other. Apart from Naz, who really exudes that sort of confidence and swagger, we don't really have anyone else that kind of joins that party. Sharman maybe, Higgins, but apart from that, everyone else kind of was just, tails between their legs and just intimidated by Brisbane. And that's a mental thing, is the game lost before you even get on the ground? I don't know, but that's now our 3rd loss in a row, and I just find it very crazy to think that we got the monkey off the back against Port. It was a monumental win. We were all up and about, and we haven't won a game since then. We've had 2 games out of the next 3 at Marvel after that game, and we have not delivered in any of them. And that's a step back. I thought it was a step forward beating Port away and really cementing our spot in sort of that top half of the ladder. But now we've lost the last 3, and they've all been comfortable. We've not been any of them. You can say 5-10 minutes here in some of the games, but in the last 3 games, we have been well beaten. And it's been a non-contest in all 3, Every single game we've been further than 50 points down. And that's a worrying sign. And it doesn't get much easier for you on Friday. But just today, Neil, we didn't really quell him. Will Ashcroft didn't quell him. They lost Payne before the bounce, which I thought would help us. I thought the front half kind of operated a little bit better with Keeler and Caminiti there, and Sharman. But the arcs don't matter. The ends don't matter if the midfield's not getting the job done. And stoppage score was huge for Brisbane, and we were just beaten. Last week felt more brutal, like the way the Dogs surgically beat us. But I think Brisbane made more mistakes than the Dogs. I think comparing the 2 games, Brisbane were nowhere near their best today, and they did it pretty comfortable. They didn't play well, I don't think, for their standards. They just needed to bounce back after a loss, and they did. we were a good opposition because we really didn't offer a huge amount of resistance. And the writing was on the wall early. You know, they had, I think, 12 inside 50s to 3. They had 1 goal 4. It could have been, game could have been over at quarter time, but it wasn't. And it kind of prolonged the inevitable a little bit. I thought Wilson was a little bit better. I thought Wilkie was fucking frustrated. He was screaming in parts of this game, pointing to certain players and giving them a mouthful. And that's leadership. That's what you want to see. But he did it so often. It was so frustrating. I felt frustrated for him, seeing it and, you know, wondering what he thinks. Like, boys, give me some chop out here. Like, help me out. Higgins, you know, kick 3, leading the Coleman, or at least top now. And, yeah, it's just, I last week it was more damning. This week we wanted a response, or we wanted something. And I don't know if we got it. I don't think we got too much of the opposite to feel worse than last week, but it was just a continuation from last week. Just the method, we just allow teams to just dominate the ball and dominate inside 50s and field position, and we're always backs against the wall. We always start timid. I mean, I know the last couple of weeks before that we started well, but even just operating the ball, 5 minutes into the game, we were chipping it around because we didn't want Brisbane to touch it. And that already implies, you know, we're inferior. We can't allow it. And I know it's true because Brisbane are one of the best teams in the comp, but to me, that's just gives confidence to Brisbane to set up. And it kind of spreads to the rest of the team that, hey, this is Brisbane, watch out. Don't play too crazy. But then we play the third quarter, we come out, kick 3 early goals, and it's off the back of taking aggressive kicks and playing through the middle and kind of saying, F you to Brisbane, we don't care who you are, and playing our game. And we phase too much between those two. You know, we go ultra defensive, then ultra attacking. I know it's up to Ross and the coaches to find that balance, but we just don't have that balance right now. We can't find that moment to control the game. The game is either out of control against us or out of control in our favour. There's no middle ground. And maybe that's just modern day football and it's momentum, but I think that's just too unpredictable for a team that doesn't have out and out stars like us. We need it to be settled, and when the pressure's on, we panic and we turn it over, and we did that too many times out of the back half. Stocker turned it over a few times, you know, hack balls and just silly mistakes. You know, Zach Jones, I think in the fourth quarter, missed an easy 15-metre lead from Sharman, missed the kick, and the Lions flick it up the other end, and Eric Hipwood kicks a goal. So I don't think there's much point in going too long into this review, honestly, because it's all the same shit. It's all, we make basic mistakes and Brisbane hurt us, and Brisbane didn't need to be at their best to get the win. You know, we played the reigning premier. I need to remind myself and maybe some of the viewers that we played a team that won the grand final not too long ago. So even at our best today, it would have been tough. But I just wish we asked questions. We tested them. We made them uncomfortable. In the last 3 weeks, I don't think we've made any of our opponents feel like they've been in a game, that they've been tested, that they've had to fight for it. It's been cruisy. It's been uncontested, it's been cruisy, and it's been too easy. So, I mean, it's great to see Dukes get a game under his belt. I think that hopefully long-term there'll be more balance in the back half. It means we can get some height in the front half. But geez, we need some difference in that midfield. Garcia was subbed off early because it wasn't working, and then you bring Jones on and you know you're going to get effort, but you're not going to get efficiency and you're not going to get class. You're just going to get brute effort from him, and Naz went in there. I still don't like that, but we persist apparently. And I guess the main highlight was Ryan Marshall kind of got going a little bit in this game, back to his old self. But we're going to need more. 2 Friday nights in a row, Saners. We cannot shit the bed on prime time, please. We just can't. Spud's game, we cannot be losing to Carlton. And Fremantle, as good as they were yesterday, it could be a game. It could be a game. But if we deliver what we've delivered in the last 3 weeks, we're not really beating anyone, to be honest. So, yeah, tough. Brisbane too good. We were not. And they take it home by 45 points. So as I mentioned at the start, put your thoughts in the comments. Please like the video. Please subscribe as well. And I'll be back tomorrow for 5 things we learned, and obviously the podcast and everything else during the week. So yeah, I'm sure I've missed many things, but I didn't really take too much improvement or response from this week from last. I kind of expected effort at least, and maybe class would be the difference, but again, there were so many situations where Brisbane just wanted it more, and in the end it took its toll on the scoreboard, and they get the 4 points, and that's what happened. So thanks again, Saners. Take care, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and as always, go you mighty Saners. See you guys.